Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. I hope y'all are doing well. And I am flabbergasted right now. If you've been listening, you know we've been struggling to phase through this periodic table. Out of the 4 fundamental elements, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen, and oxygen, we discovered all of those but nitrogen. Of course, you don't have to wait for me to review, study, play with the elements, and research on your own time. But the Most High is cutting in and having us have other discussions. Don't worry, I will organize these segments and have them put in the proper file, okay? According to the series they belong in. But the Most High, let me just first say this, right? When you ascend and you elevate and you start getting in alignment with your soul's purpose and your soul's journey, God is going to have you get yourself together first. So when you see people quote unquote preaching, right? Because that's what a lot of us call it. Let's be real. When you see people quote unquote preaching, they are mainly speaking from a space of, I understand this firsthand, right? I experienced this firsthand. So this is not me just saying stuff out the side of my neck. And God has revealed this to me time and time again. And I'm trying to help y'all overall, right? Now God elects people for those positions, and then other people, they do it themselves. They rise up on their own. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I don't know. You gotta talk that one with God. Now, I literally heard him tell me to talk about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, probably a little longer. And I was like, we talked about the senses, maybe I'm bugging out. And then he was like, no, go back into it. About a year ago, we went over the senses and how they correlate to the spirit world, right? And how we use them in the 3D, but also in the 5D and the other higher dimensions. But he's like, no, people think they're in control, right? So you think you in control. Like, that's how he said it. He told me to say it just like this. He said, God will get you together. God will have you check yourself first. He will get you together. He will clean you right up. And don't worry, okay? He said, you're not even in control of blinking your own eyes. That's how he told me to say. You're not even in control of the amount of times you blink. Now, the average human blinks 10 to 15 times a minute in your emotional state. Depends on the frequency, right? And the blinks aren't always the same. Crazy, right? I know. Of course, we know blinking is to protect your eyes from debris and other foreign substances, and it refreshes the eyes, right? You have, okay, this is where I was like, wait, what? When we blink, we get these tear ducts, right? And it goes across the surface of the eyes. And those blinks cleanse and moisten the cornea, right? We know that. Not blinking keeps your eyes from drying out. But what I didn't know is that the cornea didn't have vessels, blood vessels. So anything that doesn't have a blood vessel can't receive oxygen. So the oxygen that goes to our eyes is coming from the atmosphere. Okay, and then it made me think about blind people, but blind people all also blink. It's crazy, right? This is crazy. Blind people also blink. You're not even in control of that. Now, that's crazy. So there were a few things that he had me look into, like blinking, itching, breathing. We talked about, the breathing, and then obviously the senses, and then, sneezing and coughing. And then he started getting a little more detailed, or intimate, I should say, like walking, talking, listening, running. And I'm saying intimate because not everyone can do that. Not everyone is even born with the ability to do those things that we so take for granted, right? Then I looked into itching. Okay, it's a sensation from your skin cells or your nerve cells triggered by histamine. Now, you know that histamine is a chemical that's released by your immune system, and it's related to the regulation of your sleep-wake cycles. And this is also an autoimmune response. Now, of course, they have antihistamines, right? Like Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra, things like that, right? But this actually is a nervous reaction. This is when you itch, that is a response, okay, from your nerves. And then you itch, and then the scratch is related to serotonin, not to be confused with dopamine and norepinephrine, right? Which are all neurotransmitters, but the itch is a response from your immune system, right? Connected to your nerves. That's your brain also, right? That's the release of the histamine, which isn't only, obviously we itch for multiple reasons, right? Whether you have some type of allergy, you're irritated, whether it's something going on internally. So it all depends. And then the serotonin is obviously the release of the sensation caused by the itching feeling. Now, what made me think about the spirit world is that, again, we have so many intricate and detailed and yet complex but still simple things about our physical bodies that we have yet to understand. And we've had centuries of learning about the human body and learning about these little small things that seem so simple but are actually major, right? Because can you imagine if you didn't blink? Can you imagine if you didn't itch, right? And then I looked into sneezing and coughing. These are both related to neuro and immune responses. They both clear the airways from irritation or potential dangerous compounds in the elements. So like if you have allergies, right? If you're related to pollen, you come into contact with pollen, obviously you'll sneeze or, have some sort of reaction. That's the histamine, right? Causing it. Or if you're like around cats and dogs or whatever you're allergic to, your body will automatically respond to those things, which again, you have no control over. You don't have control over it. Now, you can consume antihistamines, right? Like some of the medicines we've named earlier. Obviously, they are to suppress the symptoms, but the overall gist of your body rejecting those elements or those compounds still stands. I don't really know many people that outgrow allergies. I think you can, but I don't know many people who do. And I know a lot of people develop allergies as time progresses and as people age. I know a lot of people who've told me that, when you start aging, you will start seeing, certain allergens pop up out of nowhere. Again, something that you're not controlling. Itching, the word itching is also called pruritus. I was like, what? Yeah, Pruritus. Interesting. I was like, what? Okay, now, overall, I believe what the creator is saying is that, again, these things that seem so small and minute are connected to major things within us. Okay? They tell a story. So while we're here looking outward and not really understanding the things outward, maybe if we revert that energy a little and examine ourselves a little bit more, we'll start to understand what's going on and we'll know how to better navigate the environments that we're in. And again, we talked about stimuli before, about the things we consume, like music, food, what we're reading, what we're seeing and listening to, like the things we're saying. We talked about that and how it correlates to us physically, biologically, and spiritually. We had that conversation. But this is more so stepping out of yourself and learning to look at the small things and realizing that everything is indeed connected. And a lot of the things we assume to have control over, we do not. We do not. And it's important for us to realize that, because that's a form of release. When you realize that the Creator has created us in such a way that is so mind-boggling, it makes you want to learn more about Him or her or it or them or they, whatever you refer to the Creator as. It's really important to start getting into ourselves. This will help us understand each other better. When you are quick to examine yourself, it makes you more relatable, and you will tend to act accordingly in your environment. And that is not just for your survival, but it's for you to contribute to the energy in the atmosphere and raise it. Maintain the balance that is required for all of us to function in this atmosphere, because believe it or not, the energy here in America, okay, is the same energy that floats all the way to Africa. And although we're not geographically close, and although you may not be directly correlated to someone, remember we had the 6 degrees to 2 degrees conversation. Someone that you know knows someone that you know that is there, and that energy is floating, whether it's over the phone, whether it's on the computer, whether you're looking at someone on TV or listening to someone on the radio. That energy is fluid, okay? And it's not bound. That's why we have to be very careful of the things we're putting out and the things we're consuming. Alright? But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I'm going to leave it there. I do love y'all. I hope all is well. I hope y'all are drinking y'all water, eating y'all fruit and vegetables, and minding y'all business. Oh, and sipping y'all tea because it's free. Okay? Don't take life so serious. Enjoy this. It's gonna fly by really, really fast. Alright? We have no control over many things. Alright? I love y'all. Peace.